You are listening to Peak One Sports.
Muted. There we go. Let's unmute these guys, huh? What up, Peak One Sports Nation? Welcome to this week's episode of the Sports Page. I am Dan Boyer, aka Neon Super Shrimp, joined with my buddy Ross over here on this side of me. What's up, Ross? How you been? How's your week?
What's up, dude? Well, been a lot better if the Stars and Mavericks could have won, but other than that, man, it's been great. What about you?
Same. I got a story time anecdote for that, but we'll get into it here in just a little bit. I think we can have some fun this week. I'm actually wearing some black and green here. I was repping Mystic Dan after that photo finish at the Kentucky Derby. Man, that was a pretty cool race. I was actually out at Top Golf, one of Korri's friends' birthdays. They happened to show the race, and they were going down the line showing the different horses. And as soon as they got to Mystic Dan, man, his odds were 18-1, and I was like, I would have totally put $10-20 on that horse just for egotistical purposes, just because
you're basically Mystic Dan. Yeah.
And then watch that race, and then I was cheering so hard at the end of that race, you would have thought I actually had money on that horse. It was so close. It was such a cool race to see. I'm not even a big Kentucky Derby guy or horse race guy or anything like that, but I mean, I can always appreciate just a really good close race. But we'll talk some more about that and a few other things: Rangers, Mavs, Stars, of course. But just before we get into it, shout out to Ashton and Chris. We miss you guys. Not sure if Chris will make it, but Ashton had some stuff to take care of, so just me and Ross for now. Kenny may join us shortly here in a little while from the Shut the Puck Up podcast, which actually just ended maybe 20 minutes ago or something like that. I made a quick pop in and talked to little Stars. But before we get fully into it, let's go ahead and shout out some of these sponsors here. Because Ross and I we're literally just talking about this, but hang on, I'll do this one first. Say goodbye to unruly behavior and hello to a well-mannered pup. The Dapper Dog Academy stands out as a top-notch canine training institute located here in Cleburne, Texas, and serving the DFW Metroplex. My girlfriend, awesome owner, trainer, Korri Bennett, has nearly 10 years experience in helping your canine companions become the best version of themselves. With personalized training programs tailored to suit your pup's unique personality and needs, Korri's committed to helping your pet reach their full potential. Contact Korri and the Dapper Dog Academy on Facebook and schedule your consultation today. Man, I had a couple of real rough bets go for me the other day. I was talking about it on this Shut the Puck Up, where I had Ottinger under 2.5 goals for that game last night. But you think there's anybody that could have helped me out with that, Ross?
Definitely. I would recommend our friends over at Betalytics, Dan. You don't bet with your gut. The Betalytics dashboards allow you to quickly identify the top graded best bets and the hottest trends. Betalytics uses AI machines to learn algorithms and create accurate game simulations, player prop projections, and betting line evaluations, and even best bet recommendations. Use the promo code PEAK1 for 25% off when you sign up today. Go to betalytics.com to start betting smarter, Dan.
It's probably what I should have did, huh?
Yeah,
I was feeling so confident,
Well, you should have bet on Mystic Dan. I bet Betalytics would have said so.
I mean, I don't know, 18-1. Those are tall odds, man. Really climbing over that one. All right, our final plug here. Looking for a superior energy drink to replace those inferior caffeinated beverages? Dubby contains 0 sugar, 0 maltodextrin, 0 fillers, 0 artificial colors or dyes, and 0 proprietary blends. It's the coffee fruit extract that's the star of this beverage, helping you focus and energize without the jitters or crash. Order Dubby today using promo code PEAK1 and enjoy 10% off your entire order. This week I'm trying, well, not really trying, I'm drinking Big Energy Tears. I don't know, it's their blue flavor.
Ooh.
And I feel like you could never go wrong with blue. So
hey, tomorrow when we go to the Railroaders game, that might be a good time for us to connect and get me on some of this Dubby merch. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I can give you a cup, but I drank.
What's that?
I can give you a cup. I can give you a shaker, but I drank the samples.
I just want to be involved. I want to be able to hold up my Dubby cup and look cool like you and Ashton.
Oh yeah, for sure. Honestly, that was a partnership that I just kind of came across, and I sent it over to Ashton, and we got in on it. But yeah, if you go on the website and everything, their little sampler package that comes with like a cup and like it's like 5 flavors or something like that. It's like $20 plus our discount that we get for being partners and everything. Brings it down
Nice.
real good. So
That's not
yeah.
bad.
But they're not bad. I like they definitely, I mean, me personally, they give me a little energy. I don't feel nearly as jittery as I do after like kind of your traditional energy drinks and stuff. So pretty good.
Yeah, you guys have given pretty good reviews. I can't wait to try it. And that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, honestly, the one we tried last week, I might order a tub of that Galaxy grenade. That was really good. I like that one a lot. Yeah, unfortunately, I had made a second order. I had ordered the sample thing, and then I had ordered another one where it was like you get a random tub flavor and a random shaker cup. Well, this is the shaker cup I got with that order, but the tub that when I ordered the samples, I also ordered a tub of the blue one. The random tub that they sent me was another blue one, and I was like, man, y'all got like 8 flavors. I really thought the odds would be in my favor here, and it just did not work out that way. But
Man.
Blue's good. I enjoy it. The Galaxy Grenade's probably my next favorite one. The Dragonade was also good. But anyway, we got I'll lateral back a little bit here. Let's see. I was going to show like the last part of the Kentucky Derby. But,
Ooh.
But yeah, give me just a second here so we can. Oh, sorry, I'm on the right. Here we go. So this is how close that race was, though. Just
Wow.
incredibly close.
Yeah.
And then just because we're talking about super close races, did you happen to see this?
Yeah, the finish, man.
All the way up top. Busher, he's on the
This was an incredible finish, a historically close.
Right to the 2 leaders, coming to the line, crash together. I believe Busher.
It's unbelievably close.
So close. This is going to be a huge win for Busher. They're excited. I think it's him, Kevin.
That was incredible.
Korri Heim gets
Talk about a move.
just past the checkered
Yeah,
flag.
they'll show the replay here in just a second,
I
like the
think
photo
Austin
finish at the
Miller.
line.
Let's look at it. I don't. It may be
All right,
the
still not
5.
sure. There it is.
Hold on. Well, let's have a look at the
Look
video.
how close this is. This is incredible.
Uh-oh, Busher is ahead. Larson is coming. It's like the Kentucky Derby.
Bang.
It's that close.
Oh
It's
my
Larson.
goodness.
Holy cow.
What a finish, boys.
Wow.
Honestly, personally, I couldn't even believe that Larson managed to catch him right there at the end because he was behind. If you see it, he was just behind, but he's moving faster. And man, what a crazy close finish! But yeah, that's the closest finish in NASCAR history. The Kentucky Derby wasn't quite the same. It was what I had here was the closest finish since 1996, but not the closest finish in history or whatever. But man, for a Saturday Kentucky Derby to finish out like that, and then NASCAR to follow up. I'm not a huge race fan or anything, but those are the races you want to see. You know, those are the ones that you can.
I mean,
talk
really,
about
isn't that the kind of competition you want in every sport? You know,
in every sport, right? Isn't that what you want? The game sevens, you want these photo finishes. Like, this is what makes it exciting. This is why you came. You know, this is why you played.
Yeah, like one of my favorite football games I've ever watched in my entire life was that AFC championship game with Josh Allen and the Bills against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and they just boom, 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 boom. And it was like, I can't remember exactly, but it was like 20 something points scored in the last like 2 minutes or something. I mean, it was
Yeah,
that was
that was a
insane.
really good one. Honestly, one of my favorites too. I mean, throwing this back a little further was that national championship game, USC versus Texas.
When we
That
I
game
think I
was the
at
same
your
way,
house.
back and forth so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
really, really great game.
yeah, and Vince Run ran it in, right?
But it's that back and forth. You know, the competitiveness, the lead changes and stuff. Same thing in like a lot of these basketball games and stuff too. Speaking of which, I was kind of checking on this too. The Indiana Pacers are just behind the New York Knicks right now. And as we kind of transition a little bit here, you want to talk Mavs?
Yeah, man, let's go talk some Mavs.
All right, I'll let you start this one off. How did that game make you feel, man? Luka, Kyrie struggling a bit, I guess, against OKC.
Yeah,
not exactly the game one we were hoping for, right?
Correct, but we shouldn't really be crazy surprised, and the reason is because Jason Kidd has never won a game one in the playoffs ever, but he's undefeated in game sevens. So I'd rather have the win in game seven, than having a loss. But if you got to kind of trade it, I'm gonna take it. He's quoted as, talking after the game, it's just a 1-game series, we'd be out, but it's a 7-game series. And so just like with the Stars in the first round of the playoffs against the Knights, like it took them all 7 games to get there. But interestingly enough, Dan, I don't know if you know this, but also the Dallas Stars head coach has never won a game one in the playoffs and is also undefeated in game 7 of the playoffs. So that's kind of an interesting parallel between the two of them. But, 2022, the Mavericks lost game 1 against the Jazz in the first round of the playoffs, but they won that series in 6 games. So I think that's what everybody's kind of hoping for against the Thunder. One thing I did definitely notice is that, Brian Westbrook is not who he used to be anymore. He's getting up there in age, and even though he's a former MVP winner, it just did not look like he had the same chutzpah that he's had in the past. So I think that'll be good. Another thing I think we have going for us is that Kyrie Irving traditionally is really good in the playoffs. I mean, he's the reason that the Raptors won it was a few years ago, but he's clutch. I definitely think that after some adjustments, Kidd makes, I think Luka, having a little more freedom to feel that, like, okay, you know what, we still have a chance. I think it'll be pretty good. But yeah, it was rough watching a loss like that, especially, when we're seeing the Mavericks do it to other teams all season, blowing them out by that much.
Right.
It kind of hurts, but
yeah,
it's
sure.
game one. It was at the Thunder's stadium. So, all the talk in town right now is that the American Airlines Center is just shaking every game that they have there, whether it's the Mavericks
I believe that,
or the Stars. So I think having a game at home could help too.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I don't like to put too much stock into game one, especially when it's a loss. For obvious reasons, it's always nice to win game one and take that 1-0 lead. But I'm kind of with you in the sense that, like, I'm not ready to like hit the panic button just yet. I think the Mavericks still have a good fighting chance here. I think the downside, to be honest, Luka looking a little rough last night. I mean, he seemed frustrated at some points, but I can't help but feel like that knee or his ankle or something was like really bothering him. He just wasn't quite moving the same. I got a few stats here. Just over the last 2 games, Luka's only been shooting 33% field goals, 11% from 3, and he's got 10 turnovers. So, I mean, as much as it sucks, it almost seems like Luka might need a night off. And personally, as much as I would hate to come into Dallas behind 2 games, I would much rather have Luka here at home, like what you're saying with the home crowd and letting that kind of electrify him a bit versus, these games in Oklahoma. Losing, I'd really like to split the series, but it's obviously going to be hard without Luka. Kyrie can obviously, play, and I think he's a great, playoff asset for the Mavs. But I mean, it's gonna be tough no matter what. And
it definitely doesn't help that game that they played is actually the fewest amount of points that the Mavericks have scored in a game that both Luka and Kyrie were playing together. So, and that happened actually January 1st. They were playing Utah. They lost 127-90. So, it's good. But yeah, I mean, they, for Oklahoma not really being...
Just to that note, though, I just wanted to kind of say in like Dallas's defense and everything, last night was going to be a hard game to win no matter what. Again, more stats for your ass. Oklahoma last night from the field goals, shooting 44.9%. From 3-point, they were shooting 45.7%. So they were actually shooting better from 3 than they were from the field goal. And I mean, when you've got a team that's shooting 45% from everywhere, from anywhere, that's a tough team to beat. Like they're knocking down their shots.
Yeah.
I mean, 45% in my mind might as well be 50. And if if my team's shooting 45% from the 3-point line, I'm like, shoot more. Like I'm not going to stop you. So it's just, I mean, they put up 117. It's incredibly hard to, beat a team that's just knocking down their shots like that. So, I mean, definitely like to see the Mavs come back. I have their numbers too. They were only shooting 39% from field goal and 34 from 3. And obviously, Luka shooting 11% over the last 2 games from 3. So that's not him. He's not helping from 3 or anything, so hopefully game 2, looks a little bit better. But man, I don't know. I hope something can happen for Luka where he can just kind of start feeling a little bit better. He definitely just wasn't moving up and down the court quite the way I would have liked to see him. But it's the playoffs. It's it's like, this is the time to play. So
oh yeah, well hopefully they can grab a win out there in Oklahoma for game 2. But like you said, nobody wants to come into Dallas down 2-0, but having 2 games back to back in Dallas might help too. It certainly would be good. But another interesting thing I saw actually was that they are saying Luka's probable, but he does have a sprained right knee.
I mean, he's been day to day for a long time now. So
well,
I suppose there's always the possibility maybe he does sit, but
but he did everything in practice today, they said. So I mean, he might play.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah, I'm sure it's that, if anything, I mean, just be a good distraction, But,
right? Yeah, definitely. It's just, I mean, it's pretty much exactly what I was just saying. It's going to be it's so hard to keep up with your opponent when they're just not missing their shots. Hopefully Oklahoma doesn't, carry this into, game 2 or throughout the series or anything. To be honest, these numbers are like pretty insane. 45% is a pretty insane percentage to be, I mean, from anywhere, so.
Yeah. And the Mavericks missed a lot of open shots. There was a lot of shots that probably should have went down. And Jason Kidd actually was saying that he noticed during the game that we weren't getting up and down the court as fast as we, could. And so that's probably one of the adjustments that he's going to make for the next few games, at least, is really getting them to hustle down there. I mean, interesting. I was just going to say one more interesting fact. Going into that game, Oklahoma City was actually the 27th ranked team in rebounds, but they were actually able to out rebound the Mavericks too. So having the Mavericks get down the court a little bit quicker in these next few games might be able to help them win that rebound battle, which can be really good if you can put it in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I totally agree. I think, as crazy as it is, I think obviously trying to get better movement up and down the court and everything, probably try and attack more. I'd like to see the defense just stiffen up, put more pressure on Oklahoma so that they're not shooting 45%. But I mean, to be honest, just coming off this game 1, I think plenty of adjustments for them to be made. I was even kind of laughing a little bit when sometimes these interviews post game and stuff, but Luka, they had asked him something about like how he felt about like some of his shots and things like that, and he was like, who cares, like we lost. And I was like, man, I can totally understand that frustration. And he was basically just like saying, because I think they asked him, like what adjustments, for, next week. And I think it made me laugh just because he was like, make more shots. And I was like, I mean, isn't that like the name of the game? Like, just knock down your shots and, score your points, get on the board, whatever. But, tough game one for the Mavericks for sure. I was kind of flipping back and forth between them and the Stars, but they were struggling to keep up in like the second quarter. I think they went into halftime down 10 or something, and then I don't think they really ever played back. So hopefully game 2 goes better. Always a little tougher to play on the road, but you're gonna have to win at least one in Oklahoma just because of the setup for everything. So hopefully we see that out of the Mavericks. But transitioning now, I was watching that Stars game with I bet
Korri. Your girlfriend's happy,
man. All right, so I got a story for you. I was actually I just told this story on Shut the Puck Up, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell it again. So I'm hanging out with Korri. My girlfriend is from Colorado Springs. She's not really a big sports fan, but she's a great girlfriend, and she likes to take interest in some of the things that I'm interested in. So I've managed to get her to like go to some baseball games and like, watch some sports. And, bless her heart, she does not like football, but she does enjoy hockey. She's actually a hockey fan. She enjoys the fights and like the speed of the game and the hits and everything. So we've managed to bond over that a little bit. So she was really excited when the Stars are going to play the Avalanche in this playoff series. She was even talking about trying to get tickets. I'm like, baby, those tickets are so expensive. I don't think we're gonna go. But so we're hanging out here at home. We're just kind of on the couch. I made some wings. We're watching the game, and the first period's going very well for the Stars. I'm pretty happy. She is not. It's 3-0 as the first period's ending, and she's just livid, just not happy at all. And so she got up and she went outside. She took our dogs out and was playing with the dogs and whatever, and did not want to come back in to watch the game when the second period started. So I just kind of text her here and there. Colorado manages to score. I text her. I'm like, hey, they're on the board, 1-3. She's like, whatever, don't care, right? I'm like, all right. A few minutes later, Colorado gets a power play. I'm like, hey, power play coming up. During that power play, they score 2-3. So I text her, right? I'm like, oh, it's 2-3 now. So she like comes back in the house. Now she's like cleaning and straightening things up and everything, but she's like watching the game out of the corner of her eye. Like she doesn't care. But she's watching. I see her. Getting to the third period, Colorado scores their third goal, ties this thing up. Korri is now sitting on the couch, edge of her seat, and she looks at me and she's like, oh my God, they could actually win this thing. And I'm like, you've been gone this entire game. You didn't even care. Like you were just, you gave up on them when it was 3-0. You left, you were outside. You didn't even care. We end up going into overtime. She's yelling at the TV, like, get it out of there. Like whatever. And as I can't remember his name now, but the player for the Avalanche who takes the breakaway at the end, she's like, oh, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
Was
and
that McKinnon?
Like the whole time he skates from like mid ice. I'm like, oh no. And he scores. And I was like, oh no. And she has been, I can't live with this girl. This is terrible. I got up this morning. She rubbed it in a little more. It was just like, oh, like, wasn't that a great game? Like, oh, come on. You didn't even believe. Right. You didn't even believe. But it's really funny because I've been telling her for a long time. Like, I've seen stranger things happen in sports. Like before she even went outside. Like, it's only the second period. There's plenty of game left. So you never know.
You brought it into existence, Dan. It's your fault.
That must have been it, I guess, right? But yeah, I was trying to tell her like, oh, like just root for your team, whatever. She had given up, and man, that overtime loss, it still stings.
Yeah,
lose a 3-0 lead like that, man.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna. I mean, hopefully, we're talking about the Mavericks making adjustments after their game 1 loss. Hopefully, excuse me. Hopefully, Pete DeBoer can make some adjustments as well, because it really, to me, I was listening on the radio, and not even being able to see the game, you could hear just how much pressure the Avalanche was able to put on the defense for the Stars.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, for sure.
The one thing I'll really be looking forward to is seeing if they can adjust to put more pressure put more on that forward line to see if they can't take some of that pressure off the D. Interesting about the Stars, they actually have some of the better players for playoff scoring on their team. So last year, when they got knocked out, Rupe Hintz was actually leading the NHL in playoff scoring. He had 10 goals, 14 assists in those 19 games. Joe Pavelski had 14 points with 9 goals, 5 assists. And Tyler Seguin right now has no goals in the 8 games, but he has been scoring a lot. Remember, we talked earlier that the Stars were one of the few teams that had more than 5 guys that were putting up an average of a goal a game. So, Matt Duchene, he's actually from the Avalanche. He came from the Avalanche to the Stars, and he's only got a lone power play goal. So, it'll be, I think it's a franchise record this season that they have 8 people who've scored 20 goals or more throughout the season. So we've got incredible scoring potential. We just got to use that. And, we'll see. Sure. I was personally, after I quit listening on the radio, we were up, I go inside and I sit down, and we decided to watch the new Mission Impossible movie. And then after that was over, I look at my phone and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to confirm, because I'm pretty sure we won. I'm just going to confirm. And you should have seen my face when I pulled up the score and was like, how, man?
Yeah, right.
I mean, we played Vegas in the first round of the playoffs, who won the Stanley Cup last year. And then now we're playing Colorado, who won it the year before Vegas. So, I mean, we have a really tough, playoff schedule. And of course, as you know, playoff hockey is the toughest hockey out there. It doesn't matter who you're playing. Anything can happen. It's the most exciting to watch.
Yeah, for sure. All right. We're also going to add in one of my buddies. We were just on his podcast, an hour ago. It's my buddy Reckless from the Shut the Puck Up podcast.
Yeah.
And I was literally just saying,
what's up, you puckers?
Hey, man, I'm going to have to
literally get it.
I'm going to have to get like you, dude. That's pretty good, Kenny. I like that. I got to get like you, though, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it's a lifestyle.
I hear it.
Oh, for sure. I couldn't do it, man. I tried to do it during COVID, and I couldn't do it. But I was just saying,
I've seen you try to grow a beard, Dan. Don't.
But
I love you, buddy. But
I was actually just saying on Kenny's podcast on Shut the Puck Up, we were kind of saying the same thing that you were talking about, Ross, and the pressure that Dallas just wasn't really able to kind of keep on the Avalanche. And I was personally saying, I couldn't really tell you if it was necessarily the Stars coming into that second period and decided to throttle off a bit, and they just weren't playing the same way they were in the first period, or if the Avs came in and they just committed to fully throttling down. But the Stars definitely kind of struggled to keep up with the Avs into that second and third period. So I definitely thought it was kind of the Stars' loss for sure. I mean, especially when you're up 3-0. I mean, you've got to be able to keep that pressure on. You've got to be able to, at the very least, play defense but they were just giving up a lot of offensive opportunities to the Avalanche. And I mean, the Avalanche spent, honestly, I don't remember how much time it actually was, but they were in the penalty box a lot last night. Stars got a number of power play opportunities that they were doing well with. I mean, but
it
when
was
the Avs
all earlier in the game, though.
That's true. The Avs totally cleaned it up. I mean, they had a couple of penalties in the second period, but by that third period, I don't think they had any. Yeah. So good game for the Avs. Just bad for the Stars, to be honest. It just feels like dropping off was.
The color commentator.
Dan,
radio coverage. Oh, sorry. Kenny, go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off there, Ross. But Dan, my feelings on Pete DeBoer. I'm here wearing my New Jersey Devils jersey. One of 8 of them I got. This one's my lucky one, though. That said, I said it earlier, Dan. Pete DeBoer coaches to his competition. He also either coaches to blow the doors off somebody or just kind of pee his own pants. There's not really an in between.
Yeah.
And I think the best example of that is the Devils versus Rangers in 2012, when Pete DeBoer and John Tortorella are standing over top of each other, and the fact that Ray Ferraro's in between them in that little talk box that didn't exist 10 years ago is the only reason the two of them weren't punching each other, and that's when Pete DeBoer's at his best. I think Pete DeBoer is going to get there for you, though, for the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, I think Pete is very, very, very Jim Tressel about things. He doesn't have that put the foot to the floor, we're going to end it now. We're going to make this a 28-0 game. I don't care. We're doing it now. Pete DeBoer seems to play not to lose versus playing to win.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, that's a really good point and a perfect segue to what I was going to say a minute ago, is that on the radio broadcast of the game, Daryl Razor Ray is like the color commentator, and he said that when it's playoff hockey, it's not about scoring goals, it's about protecting leads. And I mean, I think that game one is a perfect example of how the Stars, need to protect that lead when they get it. I think we all know that the Stars can get it. It's just, are they going to be able to protect the lead from now on?
As a hockey player my entire life, that is an absolutely horrible take on that. You're up by 3, you go up by 4. And then maybe for the life of hockey, Don Cherry, Stan Fischler, sign this jersey. His favorite saying, the worst lead in hockey is a 3-goal lead. 3-0. Because you give him 1. Oh, we're not worried. It's whatever. Then 2. Now the momentum's starting to build. And now your confidence is starting to break. And now if you let him get the 3rd, it's a tidal wave at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand trying to do both coaching aspects. I can also understand not trying to overextend yourself when you've got a 3-0 lead and whatever, But I mean, I kind of agree with you in this. Agree with you, Kenny, in the sense that I would rather go up 4-0, 5-0, and get accused of running it up and have to defend myself in that way, than to have to defend myself in losing a 3-0 lead.
Well, the Avs in their
round one,
they gave
fired
up
as a
goals.
AAA youth hockey coach for running up the score, and my response was, "It's not my job to not score. I'm not gonna put my kids out there and tell them to not score. I'm marching all 4 lines. I'm not putting out my first liners out there to score on your kids." And they're like, "Well, no, you need to, show some mercy." Well, I did. I put my 3rd and 4th liners out there as my 1st and 2nd liners. I used the back of the lineup, and I still got, "Well, you should have told them not to shoot at the net."
I mean, I think how are they going to learn? Conversation is different when we're talking about Pee Wee League kids playing in professional NHL ball.
Well, no, obviously, but I feel like the argument's the same all the way. You're talking about guys who you're giving guys on the 4th line more time. Let them shoot. You're talking about guys who are 22, 23 years old, especially for you Stars fans. They need the experience. Let them go.
Speaking of young guys for the Stars, man, tell me what you think about that young Wyatt.
I actually really love him. I got to be honest with you. He is such a he is an honestly electrifying hockey player. He's my second favorite player on your team.
Ooh, are you a Pavelski guy or a Ben guy or?
There you go. You got it. About 10 years ago, I said if I ever wanted to start a hockey team, I'm starting it around Jamie Benn. To this day, I think Jamie Benn is one of the greatest captains in the NHL.
Well, I'll
I really
go ahead and put my Ben jersey on.
That's a good one.
Start to fit in, you know.
I mean,
I really like Ben. He's finally like actually started. I think he just scored his like second goal of the playoffs, didn't he?
Yeah, he does more than score, man. By the way, Edmonton 1-0 and is leaning on Vancouver hard. But no, Jamie Benn, yeah, I think he's only got 1 or 2 goals. I think he's got 4 points this year so far in the playoffs.
Yeah, not a lot.
It's a lot more of the intangibles he does. It's the forecheck. It's the ability to make that first pass that leads to the other 2 that leads to a goal. And it's also his ability to back check and be right where he needs to be to get the puck out of the defensive end. He is one of those guys that is, as a hockey player, I mean, I played hockey. I'm 36 years old. I've been playing hockey 23 years of my life now, since I was 3 years old. He's the type of player that you look at and you're like, that's who I want to play hockey like. Because he does everything right.
For sure.
See, I'm a big Jamie Benn fan too, but I got to be honest, man. When I was watching playoff hockey a few years ago, and Pavelski was still with the Sharks, and there was a game that they were playing that the opponent just really bad, like cross-check against one of their players, and he had to be taken off the ice, and they scored like 4 goals or 3 goals within 2 minutes or something, and Pavelski, I think, scored 2 of them. And right then I was like, this guy right here. Of course, he'd been with the Sharks for a long time. So when I heard he was coming to Dallas, it almost made me want to spring for a Pavelski jersey too.
Here's the question. Did you guys get overhyped on him?
I don't
because
think so,
you're getting an older Pavelski. He's played great for you guys. He's played fantastic for you guys.
Definitely a star.
I mean, I touched on this on the Shut the Fuck Up podcast earlier, and I touched on it with Dan. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, you guys are the second or third oldest team in the league. I'd have to look it up. And you guys have the Fountain of Youth there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Apparently it's in Dan's backyard. So, Dan, I'm coming over.
Yeah, man, we'll have to stop by the house tomorrow after the game.
Yeah. In all honesty, that said, Ross, what's your thoughts on Ottinger last night, or was it last night? Yeah, last night.
Well, I think like what you said earlier about just going up. One of the things me and Dan talked about right before you hopped on was how they're, the forward line for Dallas is going to have to put more pressure on the Avs because, only relying on our defense, things like that are going to happen, like in game 1. It's hard for me because
Georgiev's not really good. Like,
right. Well, I know they gave up. You
could expose him.
Yeah, I know they gave up 6 goals against their first opponent in round 1, but.
Georgiev also played for the Rangers, and I'm a Devils fan. Georgiev used to be like, if you talk to any Rangers fan, they'll tell you Georgiev. You get him mildly rattled, like put somebody in his face, which you tossed on the Jamie Benn jersey. Jamie, stand in his face. And every Rangers fan tells you you're going to score 6 goals on him. Because if you put someone in his face, he loses his concentration and can't focus.
Yeah.
And as a hockey player, I get it. I'm not a goalie, but like as a defenseman, there's been times when I'm like, I missed somebody who like overskated me, and I just couldn't get myself right for 3 weeks. Like, you know, you get the yips, for lack of a better phrase. I mean, Dan, you played football, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's the key for the Stars is just plant Jamie Benn's big old ass. Who's moving him? I'm sorry for the language, guys, but
No,
who's
good.
moving him? The man is not a small human.
No, I mean, I definitely agree in the sense that, like, I think the Stars have the better, you know, shooting offense and everything against a guy like, say his name again? I'm so bad at this.
Georgiev.
Yeah, Gorkiev.
Georgie.
Whatever. You all know what I'm talking about.
Georgiev.
The Avalanche goalie.
The
I think
artist formerly known as the Rangers goalie.
I think he's obviously the lesser goalie of the two when we're talking about Ottinger versus
Oh,
him.
you're not even. We're not even on the same.
Yeah, so I mean,
Like
this
planetary.
seems like a setup that the Stars should absolutely be able to take advantage of and come out on top. But I'm totally willing to admit that, like, just watching some of the Avalanche games from that first round and even last night's game, the Avalanche are doing like a really good job of like giving themselves like those second opportunities, those deflection shots, like pretty much exactly what Kenny's saying the Stars need to do to the Avalanche. They're just, getting somebody's, big ass in front of Ottinger and just helping screen, deflect those shots in, and give yourself those second opportunities. And I'd definitely like to see the Stars like do more of that, because we've definitely got guys that can like shoot it from the blue line and score those goals. But I mean, you put Ben up there in front, let him get those rebounds, let him get those deflections, let him screen the goalie a bit, and I mean, you're going to give yourself those opportunities. But it felt like in the second and third period and everything, like you were saying, Ross, the Stars were like struggling just to try and keep up with the Avalanche in transition, and just not giving themselves the same opportunities.
For the record, whoever Captain Birdseye 4 says Roscoe and Reckless.
Yeah, I saw this.
Have beards. There you go. That
I like
even
that guy.
Zeus would be jealous of.
Bro,
like
if
that
I shaved what facial hair I have off of my face, I would absolutely be a baby face. I should be offended by that, but damn it, if it's not true, because it's just all I got here.
Look at this
Dan,
beard.
you've
Look
got
at this
especially unique talent,
gloriousness.
though, Dan. Your beard is that perfect pretty boy beard. You could.
I like to keep it shaped.
Really,
my face.
yeah. I mean,
he looks like he works at Hollister.
I mean, maybe it's just the shirt, but I was just trying to rep the derby.
We went to AIT together. We went to Hollister together and got shirts.
That's true.
Don't pretend it didn't happen.
It happened for sure. I needed those civvies.
That said, we're talking hockey on that. I think the big thing that the Avs did right is they shot low on Ottinger. And Ottinger did a really bad job at deflecting into the corner. Like, I'm a Devils fan. Marty Brodeur, the best at putting it away. So the rebounds aren't coming back straight. Ottinger kind of left a lot on the table, for lack of a better phrase. A lot on the table. And it's the first time I've ever seen him do that. So I think he's going to bounce back. But it was weird to see him be that as a hockey player. It was weird to see him be that like unsure of himself.
Yeah.
Because he's always been such a confident goalie.
Yeah. No, that's true. It feels like in like the last well, I guess through this playoff series and stuff, it almost seems like he's had a little struggle like moving to his left. Because if you guys remember, that's also he was moving to his left and he had like missed the post just inside with his pad. And
yes,
one of the Knights managed to tuck it right in there. And so I've noticed that myself. Like it just seems like him moving to his left, so shooting to the shooter's right side of the goal. Kind of
as a hockey player,
the move they're making on him right now. So, I mean,
I was a defenseman. I played defense all the way through college. So the defenseman and the goalies we kind of shared a corner. I really hope I'm wrong. That sounds like he's got like a hip abductor problem, and he can't
kind of what I was thinking. Yeah,
actually get a full push.
Yeah,
like because you use the goalpost as a goalie to push across. With the goalie skates, they're made for that.
Yeah.
If he couldn't, that might be happen next season. Gone.
I just looked up Ottinger's stats for the last 5 games, and believe it or not, his lowest save percentage outside of Game 1 against Colorado was actually against the Knights with a .926 save percentage. He had in that game there was 27 shots against and 2 goals made. Right, so or goals allowed. Sorry,
goals against is the question.
Oh, even better. Thank you, sir. But in this one that they played against Colorado, there was 26 shots against, and he gave up the 4, and they gave him an 8.46, which I feel like in the regular season is still pretty good. Am I wrong about that?
8.4?
Yeah,
in the regular season.
Yeah.
No. The lowest in the NHL this year was on my New Jersey Devils, because both of our goalies were injured, and it was like 8.98.
Okay, so it is a really bad game then.
Yeah.
Like that game is a bad game, but I'm talking like the average over the year was like the Devils had 2 goalies very badly injured. But 8-4 what?
6.
4-6, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. No. That's saving 84% of shots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely some work to do for both Stars and Mavs, but we can wrap this segment up a little bit. Reckless and I were talking about this kind of at the end of his podcast as well, but we'll get you in on this, Ross. So tell me what your thoughts are prediction-wise for the Stars Avs series. Now that we've finished this game 1, what are you thinking? What are you feeling?
Well, I'm super optimistic, but I'm going to stick with my my joke that I made with you about Korri. I think the Stars could do it every night. I mean, it's just finding and making those adjustments. So I'm still a Stars in 5 guy because I'm super optimistic. But like that stat I mentioned earlier about Pete DeBoer being undefeated in Game 7s, I'd be okay if it went to 7 because I think our chances are good.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing, to be honest. Going into Game 1, I was with you, Ross. I had Stars in 5. But man, after giving up a 3-0 lead to the Avs, I've definitely changed my tune and switched it to Stars in 7. I think this is going to go a full 7 games. I think we're going to see a pretty high scoring series coming out of this. I had mentioned this in Kenny's podcast as well, but they had said last night at the start of the game, the Avs are the number 1 scoring line in the playoffs, but they're also, I believe it said that they were giving up the most goals. It was either number 1 or number 2 most goals in the playoffs so far. So I think this is definitely going to be a test for Ottinger, but the Stars have more than the capacity to beat this team. Pretty much exactly what you just said, Ross. I love it. The Stars going into every game have a chance to win every game that they're in. It's just a matter of whether they can kind of put it together and keep it together. So All right, Kenny, hit me. I know you were saying, well, you were saying 6 earlier. Now you're saying 7?
I'm saying Stars should get it done in 6. But if it goes 7, I mean, who's not gonna enjoy that? Anything at what's that, the United Center you guys got down there? Or the American Airlines rather.
Mm-hmm.
That you guys got down there. You're not winning the game 7 in that building right now. You guys are, peak 2010 Chicago Blackhawks with Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, with the building is just vibrating. You guys got one of the greatest barns right now in hockey. And it pains me to say that as a Northerner, but you guys are the only reason hockey in the South should exist. Atlanta proved it shouldn't be there.
Sorry, Arizona.
Phoenix proved it shouldn't be there. You guys proved it should be in Dallas.
We love it, here, man.
High five to the Stars. Hope you guys. I think you guys get through in 6, but I got to be honest with you, Dan. Fuck it. I want to see 7 games.
I would love to see a 7. Plus, Game 7 here in Dallas. Take it away from them.
Oh,
I would love it.
You could just stand outside and watch the building vibrate and take a video.
For sure.
For no other reason than it's just holy hell.
With how busy and
building's
packed
vibrating.
that stadium is between the Mavs games and the Stars games, that I wouldn't be surprised if they've got to do renovations after this, just because they shake the foundation so bad. I'm ready to.
I gotta be honest with you guys. You guys, the Stars fans, even round 1, that was better than your cup runs. You guys had more fans out there for this than when you guys won the damn cup.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the popularity of the Stars has grown exponentially in the last 5-10 years. They already had a great fan base, but they've gotten so much
community
traction.
Outreach.
Yeah,
it's
for
community
sure.
outreach.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
All
the
right.
point.
We'll move on to my final topic. Kenny, you're welcome to join us if you want, but I just wanted to talk Rangers just a little bit before we close this out. Rangers doing surprisingly better. They were definitely struggling with that 500 record, but continue to stay over 500. Bruce Bochy has never been under 500 as the manager for the Texas Rangers, which I think is an incredible stat that continues to go. I keep saying it every week for the last 3 or 4 weeks now. I keep mentioning it. I think it's awesome. Let's see. Rangers went 1-1 today in their doubleheader against the A's. They're 22-17, still leading the AL West. I think we're half a game or a game ahead of Seattle. To be honest, the AL West is blank other than Seattle and Texas. We're really the only ones doing anything right now.
After the game today, we're 2 games up on the we're 1 game up on the Mariners. And then the Angels and the A's.
How long before MLB decides that your GM was betting on baseball?
Our GM?
Well, I mean, he's never been below 500.
Oh,
it's kind of what they did to Pete Rose.
I mean,
Pete Rose went to Ohio State. I went to Ohio State, man. Betting on yourself is perfectly fine, in my opinion. Pete Rose. Yeah. Oh no.
Honestly, I think Pete Rose should totally be let back into the Hall of Fame, but that's a conversation for another time.
You let me on to the baseball talk. That's your fault.
For sure. Rangers bats have definitely been coming alive. On Saturday, I believe it was, the Rangers put up 15 runs. Rangers put up 15 runs again yesterday against the A's. Just throwing these out there. Semien went 4 for 5 with a home run. I think he was already triple away from the cycle in the second inning when the Rangers scored 10. I don't think he got it though. Seager went 2 for 4. Heim, a perfect 4 for 4. Unfortunately, Evan Carter continues to struggle, just going 1 for 6. He's batting .222.
Oh, he'll
Like
come
to
back.
see
He's just in a
more.
slump.
Yeah, it's definitely been kind of a long slump though, because he's been slumping all April and now it's carrying into May. Unfortunately, the injury woes for the Rangers continue. Wyatt Langford had an early exit over the weekend. He's got hamstring tightness and made the 10-day DL. Nathan Eovaldi was seen playing catch coming off of his 15-day DL. Max Scherzer suffered a setback. He's got a right thumb forearm issue, so he's been shut down from throwing for a little bit. And then Dane Dunning actually just went
I love Scherzer
on the 15-day DL. Yeah, I love Scherzer too. I'm really excited for him to come back. It sounded like everything was going really well for him, so it sucks that he's kind of suffered this setback. I was really hoping he was going to be back at like the end of the month.
He was a great Met. And you know what? The Mets weren't at the point where he needed them to be, because he's at a point in his career where he's gonna.
Yeah. No, I love Scherzer. He's fun to watch. He's got a great attitude. He's got great
rooting
command.
for you guys.
I'm
rooting for you guys.
Definitely want Scherzer back. I'd like to see Jacob deGrom make it back too, but his window isn't looking like it's going to be before August. So
no,
plenty of time.
In all honesty, no.
But when the season started, Scherzer was already doing well with his recovery, and they were mapping him for like late May. But this setback probably puts him in June.
That was also a weird trade for the Mets. When they traded for him, like they were not in a great spot. In terms of making a run.
Yeah.
They also didn't have enough money to pay for him in the offseason. So that's one of those dumb moves.
It worked out well for the Rangers. World Series.
Hey, listen. I've rooted for you guys. I have no problem with you guys. I'll be honest with you. Texas Rangers ballpark. That's not the same one, right?
Yeah, they have Globe Life Field now is the new one.
Yeah, but he's talking about the ballpark in Arlington.
Yeah,
or
the ballpark
Globe
in
Life
Arlington.
Park.
Yeah, the ballpark in Arlington. Yeah. Was honestly one of the greatest days of my life. Just sitting there eating a hot dog. I got a cool Texas Ranger sweater. It was a great day. It was a great day at a ball game. That was a great ballpark. It reminded me of Old Shea Stadium.
I still love that ballpark. It was my favorite. To be honest, I'm still a little bitter that they built a brand new ballpark and kind of did away with yeah, for sure.
About that money,
yeah, there it is.
For sure. But
that's one of those that that's one of those that reminds me, like, you got old school Yankee Stadium sitting in the bleachers for $8 and getting a $2 hot dog and just chilling there with your buddies, going to Shea Stadium, getting a $4 seat because you're not a Yankees fan, because the Yankees actually win things and the Mets don't. I don't need anybody to point that out.
No, for
I
sure.
already know that.
But yeah,
it's the same thing. It's like $4, and you get a hot dog. Like, that doesn't exist for baseball anymore, and I think baseball is becoming inaccessible.
I'd like to think that baseball is still, plenty accessible. It's definitely not like what it used to be. It's not the same. The game is definitely, like, I want to say it's like grown and evolved with its fandom, in order to kind of.
I'm talking more the pricing.
Fans. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I think they tried to do a lot with the game itself, to try and like draw in more fans and keep fans' attention better, so that they didn't have to do something about like price adjustments and things like that. Because don't get me wrong,
I'll be honest.
I'm always going to be bitter about having to spend $7.25 for a beer at the ballpark in Arlington. Well, Globe Life Park or Globe Life Field, sorry.
But
I'm $5 for a hot dog. Though, I'm gonna buy it.
I'm with you though. I know most of my friends who have loved baseball their whole life, and I'm a hockey guy, are like, oh, it's so dumb that they have like 2-minute pitch count. And I'm like, No, that actually makes sense.
I mean, I think it's helped the game a lot. I mean, honestly, I remember because when Ross and I would go to games, 5 years ago, first pitch is at 7:00, and
you're not leaving until almost.
And I could tell you that the game wasn't going to end until 10 to 11 o'clock. Usually, right about 10:30 was about the average time. It's 3.5 hours, man. Bro, you can get out of the ballpark now in 2.5 hours. It's like the average time of a ball game is 2.5 hours, and that's much more reasonable, much more manageable for people, especially on like a weekday. Like you're not trying to stay out until midnight. You got to go to work the next day or school or whatever it is. So being able to like go to the game at 7 and get out of there at 9:30 is a huge advantage.
So the NHL did. Their goal was nail it down. 2 hours and 20 minutes is our goal time. 20 minutes ahead, like 20 minutes past is fine, but that's it. 2 hours and 20 minutes, all 3 periods. That's what we're trying to do. And they cut down on the stupid extra ads. They cut down on, the extra bull crap where they're
you cut down on your TV timeouts and
they cut them down. And we're like, no, you can put your ads during the intermission. That's it. That's where your ads go. Stop it.
Right,
you want to pay 3 times that?
Plenty of time
you get the ad. Yeah, exactly. And there's literally, I'm watching it right now. There's a countdown on the bottom, and they're just showing ads instead of doing anything else.
Right.
That's like...
Right. That's fine. Just don't interrupt my game.
Best way forward. Thank you. Did you see that? Oddly enough, the biggest like blow up, and I kind of wanted to talk about it with Chris, but he hopped off before I could. Was they cut off the New York Rangers hockey game in overtime? Well, no, not in overtime. With 32 seconds left in the third period to cut to the Western Conference game on the national broadcast.
Wow.
I mean, I don't make all the rules for broadcasting and how you have things lined up. I know it was kind of like that last night too, though, because they like showed the very beginning of the Stars game for the Carolina overtime, but they were like in that intermission just before the overtime period, and then they that's what I'm talking about. On like ESPN too. Yeah. See, I saw that too. But they had the Stars game on ESPN too. So you could still watch both. But I said the same thing because I was like,
they cut the Rangers game on ESPN to switch to the Stars game on the East Coast. I'm dead serious.
Wow.
They just cut it. And
I must have missed that then.
And then they went back.
I know the Carolina game was going into overtime when the Stars game started last night, and so that
that's Carolina. Yeah, no, they cut it. 30 seconds left in the third period.
Yeah,
Dan, if you look it up, you'll find like it's that mountain of comments are hilarious. Which, I'm a Devils fan, so it's actually kind of funny to see Rangers fans get all butthurt. But,
all right, well, we're going to wrap up here. Glad to see the Rangers are doing better, getting their wins, getting together. Got 3 out of the 4 games against Oakland here, and we start another series. Tomorrow? Nope, the 10th. So, Friday? Against the Rockies, so I'll have to make sure I let Korri know we got another rivalry set of games coming up too. But lost my train of thought there. Anyway, tomorrow Ross and I will be at the Cleburne Railroaders opening day game. If you guys happen to be catching this, you want to find us out there and everything. I'm going to be definitely downing some beers, maybe some hot dogs, and watching some good old American Association baseball right here in Cleburne, Texas. So feel free to find us, shout us out, whatever. Always trying to have a good time. Ashton will be there too.
Send me a hat.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually going to hit the store tomorrow, so I'll see what they cost, and I'll at least shout you out and let you know.
Hey, man, I'll pay for it. No worries.
Yeah,
no worries.
That's what I'm saying. So I'll check it out. I gotta get me a T-shirt so I look the part for the game tomorrow. But yeah, Cleveland Railroaders, May 9th, 7 p.m., Cleveland, Texas. We'll see y'all there. Feel free to drop us a follow, like, share Peak One Sports on all social media platforms. And we will catch you on the sports page next week. I'm Dan Boyer. That's Reckless, aka Kenny, and my boy Ross. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Peace.